Send in the clowns. Don't bother. They're here. Okay, sidebar from my intro. What Wall Street banker knows all of the lyrics to Send in the Clowns? Was anyone else finding that weird, or was that just me? So one of the most notorious villains in comic books ever finally gets his own standalone origins movie. I do it in air quotes, that'll make sense later on. But the key thing is this going to be a turning point in comic book movie cinema, or is this going to fall to the wayside like origins movies sometimes have a tendency to do? Only one way to find out. Let's get into it. So Joker is the story of Batman's arch nemesis, the clown prince of crime, and it's the origins for where he came from as a character. Now, I want to preface this whole review by saying a while ago I would have said that the whole premise of an origins movie for Joker completely defeats the object of who he is as a character. Now, with that in mind, I also, from my knowledge of comic books, do recall one particular point in Batman lore where the Joker claimed to Batman that given one bad day, he could turn anyone into him. And that one bad day would be enough to tip someone over the edge and become what the Joker is. I believe that that premise is what this film is firmly rooted in. Now, this whole film about Joker is a very tricky one to navigate, and what Todd Phillips has done is he's kept his eye out for something that is really special and unique to bring to this film, and he has such a great grasp of this character and of the mental illnesses that this character is facing, and it would have been very, very easy for this film to fall into the trap of doing something completely overblown and overkill in a, I hate to say it, Jared Leto kind of way, that it would have become almost farcical in its nature, and people would have looked at it and gone, well, okay, that's Joker, I suppose. But what Joker has achieved here is a fantastic character study into how much one person can be pushed before they eventually break and start to fight back. Now, okay, granted, I would like to preface this as well by saying that this is also set against the backdrop of a person who is incredibly mentally unstable. They make no small fact about that. Arthur Fleck, who is played by Joaquin Phoenix, is a man that is facing a lot of mental challenges. But what really sets this apart is the fact that Joaquin Phoenix plays the character of Arthur Fleck as a straight man who is suffering from mental illness to a great degree, as opposed to, a comic book style maniac who likes to cause chaos and go around killing people. These are two very, very different situations that you're facing here. And actually, the empathy that Joaquin Phoenix manages to bring to this character that affects the audience is to such a degree that you actually kind of root for the character to not snap and not make that transition. Almost to the degree that when it does happen and he does free himself and make that transition, it's almost kind of too much to take, because you feel you've been on his side for so long that the film then makes you almost feel guilty for having liked him. You just start peeling the layers of that onion, and there's just more underneath, you know? And as far as the origins of the Joker in this movie goes, this is so much less a Joker movie as it is an Arthur Fleck movie, which is the character that Joaquin Phoenix is really focusing on here. And the origins of where he comes from in this film is actually at one point thought to be so definite and then afterwards treated with such ambiguity and suspicion that you genuinely begin to think about whether the whole situation of him discovering where he comes from and who he is, or what it might have been the whole time, whether that's actually all inside of his head. And there are a few points in the trailer where I kind of thought this could go one of two ways, really. And one of them was his laugh that he has in the trailer. But the great thing that you realize when you're watching this film, and particularly when he's in a comedy club and he's kind of there taking notes, you realize that in order for him to feel like he fits into society, he almost has to force his laughter to fit in with society. And in the comedy club where he's there taking notes, he's laughing on the offbeat. Everyone else is laughing at the jokes, and it's almost like he has a delayed reaction because he's following the cue of everyone else laughing because he's unsure at what points to laugh at. So his laughter isn't real. What's real laughter for him is the points where he feels uncomfortable and it doesn't want to laugh, but his condition means that he can't help it. And that's living irony for him. That's why everything in his life is almost like on the opposite ends of the scale. You know, the more I think about this film, the more I realize just how clever it actually was. Damn. If there's anything I would have liked to have seen more of in the film, I think there was an opportunity to have a little bit more duality between two characters. And I don't know if it is only me that felt this, but the point at which Arthur Fleck goes to Wayne Manor and he meets Bruce Wayne and he has that interaction with him through the gates. They're on two opposite sides. One comes from wealth, one comes from poverty. Okay, yes, that is incredibly creepy, but this is not at the point yet where Bruce Wayne's parents have died. Bruce Wayne is still at this point living a life of luxury. And at one point, Arthur Fleck did say that he had never truly felt happy a single day in his life. It would have been interesting to see Bruce Wayne being that happy, smiley kid that he was before his parents got killed. And it's at the point where Arthur Fleck fully embraces the freedom that comes with putting on the makeup and becoming Joker that he truly feels happy and where he should be. The point that happens is also the point that Bruce Wayne's life completely changes. His parents die and he never feels happiness again. That kind of intersection would have been interesting to see. Although, again, the fact that one of them kind of completely changes their destiny and one of them kind of completely embraces themselves is, again, another clever point to the film. There's layers here. Just keep peeling those layers. And what's great about the whole film is that this film focuses so much on Joaquin Phoenix as Arthur Fleck that there are hardly any scenes at all where you don't see him as the main focus of the film. Joaquin Phoenix carries this entire film solely on his shoulders and his acting prowess, and he is fantastic in this film. Oscar nominations? Why not? Why not? And then obviously, okay, spoiler alert, kind of for the very end of the film, he's really embracing the Joker as this personality in the last 20 minutes of the film. And it's in that point that you kind of go, okay, yes, he got everything that he wanted. He's being noticed now, and he's been this catalyst for all of these riots and chaos that's happened completely unwillingly. But the great thing is, this film in no way glorifies what the Joker does. In fact, there are some points of this film that are so visceral and so raw that it actually makes you feel a little bit dirty for having seen it or rooted for him at some point, because you're rooting for him to not change into the Joker by the end, because you like him, you want him to be a good person. And at the point that he starts to make that transition, you feel guilty for having rooted for him, because yeah, those guys on the subway, they were assholes. They maybe deserved it. And that's what makes you feel bad about it. So, with that in mind, Joker gets 4.5 stars from me. This film was brilliantly executed. I reckon that you could watch this film 2 or 3 times, maybe pick up something new each time that gives you a little bit more of an inkling as to, okay, was this bit real or was this bit all in his head? Was this bit real or was this bit all in his head? It's the little bits of evidence that are kind of scattered around like breadcrumbs that keep you coming back to watch this film. Todd Phillips obviously saw something very unique about the script for this film, decided to take this storyline and make it into something artistic that isn't a comic book style movie, but is so much more of a character-driven study into essentially the human mind. And yes, how one really bad day can turn someone into the Joker. So, Joker, have you seen it? What did you think about it? Oscar nominations, possibly, for Joaquin Phoenix? Yes or no? What was your most defining part of this film? And I don't personally think that they should bring this film into a larger franchise, but if they did manage to work this into a Batman franchise at some point, not saying they should, how do you think they would do it? All comments are welcome in the comment section below. Let's talk nerdy. As always, if you've enjoyed what you've seen here and you would like to see some more, you can click right here to subscribe and see some more funky fresh videos from yours truly. And until that point, don't forget to put on a happy face.